AEW Fight for the Fallen took place in Jacksonville, Florida at Daly's Place. And I did not know this, but Daly's Place was not only built by Shad Khan, the father of Choni Khan. It's an outdoor venue, so he had an outdoor show, AEW's first outdoor event, and that also meant having a very hot show. It's July, and we're in Jacksonville, Florida, so a very hot show. And it did hurt some of the matches early on, because you can tell some of the wrestlers were getting exhausted working in the heat. So we start off on the buy-in portion of the show. You have Avalon with Leva Bates, the librarians. They come out, and they're heels. I think Leva could be a star. I think Avalon, or Peter Avalon, is just a jobber. Sonny Kiss comes out, and I don't know what his character is, if he's, transsexual, I don't know. But he comes out dancing with Jacksonville Jaguars cheerleaders. We saw them this time. We didn't get the Beach Girls, but we got some Jags cheerleaders. He made a cool entrance, and the entrance ramp is actually kind of cool because it actually connects to the ring. It's a very short ramp. It connects right to the ring. And it was a cool-looking show. It was a different-looking show. And I wish WWE would do that, have more different looking shows. Everything always has to be that same boring-ass HD set. This was a cool set. So, the match they have, it's a lot of comedy. Sonny Kiss is, I don't know what they see in that guy. Peter Avalon and a jobber. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of a quick 5-minute match. Sonny Kiss wins. And then we go backstage. We see Jenny, or Jen, what her name is, the dark-haired backstage interviewer, and she interviews Cody and Dustin. Pretty good interview by them, to be honest. I liked it. And then we take some time, and the pre-show started at 7:30 and went to 8, so it was a half-hour pre-show, or the buy-in, before the main card started. And we were supposed to have 3 matches. I think the original match was the 6-man tag was going to be on the pre-show, but it got moved to the main show at the last second. But we went next to a women's tag team match. You had Dr. Britt Baker and Riho, or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, teaming up with Riho, who I think are the 2 top babyface females they have in the women's division, going up against Bae Priestley and the star of this match, which was Shoko Nakajima. Or Nakajima. She shined immensely here. She was the star. It seemed like the 2 Japanese women, Shio and Riho, got a lot more time to shine here. They were the stars. Bae Priestley barely did anything in the match. She's like a monster. She really looks almost identical to China. So she's a monstrous female they have, but she didn't do much here. I think she's still green. And Britt Baker's probably the top female star, but she wasn't featured as much. They started off boring. I was kind of like, okay, can we get through this? Let's just get to the main card. And it got really good later. You got some really good dives. I think Shoko is a star. She was great here. You had some false finishes. It looked like the faces were going to win, but then Shoko continues to battle back, and she actually pins Riho. She gets the victory, so Shoko and Bae win. And after the match, Dr. Britt Baker and Riho are stunned. Big upset here. No one was really expecting that. I thought the faces were going to take it for sure. But the heels win. And I think this gives them more time to just build up to their first women's title match. I don't know what they're going to have to bring in both those divisions soon, the tag titles and the women's title. I don't know which direction they're going to go for either one, but they need to consider who they're going to put there. But I think for right now, it's not a bad choice. I think you can build up everyone in the women's division. And you really don't have anyone that needs to be a dominant champion right now. So we get to the main card. We start off, and as I said, this show is I haven't said this yet in this video, but it's a fundraiser. It's a charity event for the victims of gun violence in Jacksonville, Florida. But this really wasn't an anti-gun show, an anti-NRA show. It wasn't anything like that. It was just more so a charity event, and I think it means something to Choni Khan. There's been a lot of victims of gun violence in Florida and Jacksonville. So it was a good deed. I think they could have extended to all violent crime in general. Gun crime, knife crime, strangling, every kind of violent crime. I don't think it really needs to be exclusive to guns, but they did that. So anyway, you have your 6-man tag to start. You have MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears, the heels, And one thing I didn't like was MJF is probably one of the best. He's probably the best heel in the company right now in AEW. I don't think that's a far stretch to say right now. Far-fetched. I think he's just a naturally unlikable heel. He's allowed to say whatever he wants. He's a dick, and I think people really hate him. And I think he was really overshadowed by Shawn Spears. I think Shawn Spears is for sure facing Cody at the next show, probably All Out. Yeah, it'll be All Out. I think that for sure is happening, Cody and Shawn Spears. But he got the win. They faced Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, and Joey Janela. Not a fan whatsoever of Jimmy Havoc. I just think he looks like an Antifa member. You know, he comes up with a face mask. He has arms the size of a 7-year-old child. He is not intimidating. He's trying to do this goth gimmick. It's like, that's something that would be good in the late 90s. I really don't think we need to see that in 2019. It's 20 years too late. I hate Jimmy Havoc. I think he sucks. He's just a jobber. Darby Allin had a really good showing at the match with Cody. Not anything here. He lost. And Joey Janela is an idiot. He got into a fight with Enzo Amore at a concert. They even briefly mentioned it here. I don't think you need to mention it. Enzo was a fucking idiot. Still don't waste your time with that fucking loser. Anyway, it's pretty embarrassing. He heels win. Shawn Spears gets a victory and built up him later. So it was a fine opener. Then we go to, you have the women's match, the main feature women's match. You had Brandi Rhodes against Allie. So Allie is someone who they're trying to build up a bit. She's a face, but there's some faces ahead of her. I think that Britt Baker, Riho, and Kylie Ray ahead of her right now. But she has something. Yeah, Brandi Rhodes immediately introduces Awesome Kong, and Kong assists her in the match. Kong interferes briefly. Brandi, I'm sure, worked really hard here. Her and Allie went to some sort of gym and practiced this match a million times, like they're in NXT or something. And I think they had a decent performance. They did the best they could. It was a fine match. I didn't like how they did it, because this feels too much like WWE, the ending. It's like Allie beats Brandi twice, but Awesome Kong has the ref distracted. And then Brandi is able to pin Allie. She hits her finisher. Brandi beats her, and it's kind of funny the way she pins her. She pins her in a scissor position. I just thought that was funny. And pretty hot, to be honest. And then after Allie's defenseless, she's beaten down. Awesome Kong is about to give her an implant buster, Allie, and that's going to hurt Allie, I'm sure. Then all of a sudden, we hear Aja Kong come out, her music. She stands off with Awesome Kong, and Brandi gets Awesome Kong away from Aja Kong. Aja Kong helps Allie to the back. I think we got Awesome Kong and Aja Kong at All Out. The one thing I was thinking about the show, this was more so just a setup for All Out. It was basically like a go-home show of a television show for the major pay-per-view, but it's not for 7 weeks. They had to set up All Out. The All-In / All Out show, that's their WrestleMania. That's their big event every year. It's in Chicago. It's going to do huge. I'm sure it's going to sell out. They should have booked a bigger arena, bigger venue for sure. But the All Out show is just stacked. The matches we got, that's going to be one of the best pay-per-views of all time. I'm not lying. That's just a loaded card. But this was a good setup for that. So Brandi with her first win in AEW over Allie. Then you go to a triple threat tag team match. You have the Dark Order against Angélico and Jack Evans. And then you had A-Boy and his dinosaur. That's what their name is. That's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt. So they're really going to push the Dark Order in this company. They're really behind them. I just don't get it. I'm just not a fan. I think their gimmick sucks. I just don't like them. They're against the other two teams. The most over team was easily Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They're a fun team to watch. You had Mardo Stunt. He did some really good things this match. He interfered. It should have been a disqualification, really, but the ref allowed it to happen. He was featured. Jungle Boy is a star. He can really be a big star, a big underdog babyface. I think he has a lot of potential with that company. He's still young. You don't have to push him like that yet. Luchasaurus is a good partner for him. Angélico and Jack Evans are mostly there to lose, I thought. You had some really good dives here. I thought the match got really, really exciting near the end. A lot of fun parts. It looked like there were some false finishes. It looked like the Dark Order was going to lose at one point, but then of course Dark Order hits their finish. They have a cool finisher. They get the win. And I think they go to a title opportunity soon. But it was a good win for them. It was a fine match again. Nothing great, but it was good. I didn't love it. Next, he went to Adam Page against Kip Sabian. And one thing I really have to give AEW credit on is this time limit draw decision that they've decided to incorporate into their company. The reason I say that is because you have matches now that could end in a draw, and it's a threat that it could end in a draw. There's people who think, well, they can protect these two guys. They don't want either one of them to lose, and they can just have a match that goes to a draw. This was huge. That's a big asset to this company now. That added a lot of excitement to this match. And they started off slow, and this kind of reminded me of the Cody Darby Allin match from the last year. It went a draw. Okay, they're going to go here for a long time. This is going to go on for a while. And the scariest part of the match is Adam Page does a moonsault to the outside from the top rope onto Kip Sabian. And what happens is basically, it looks like he blows his knee out. He lands on his knee and he sells it like he just tore his knee. And the announcer sold it great because, oh shit, the main event for the next pay-per-view is off. Who's Jericho going to face now? They even mentioned it. That would have been devastating. But he looks fine. It was a really good sell by him. And he had some really good, exciting false finishes near the end. You knew Adam Page wasn't going to lose to Kip Sabian. They really wanted to get him over. They even had Kip Sabian do a promo on the pre-show with the interview or whatever. It was pretty good. It's just no one in the world knows Kip Sabian's going to win this match. No one knows he's not going to win. But they did their best to get him over here. Adam Page, there was actually some really good spots onto the ring apron. The hardest part of the ring, they'll tell you that a million times now, just like WWE. But there's some really nasty bumps here. It's a bit too much in AEW. But then again, when you look at it, if they're going to wrestle, once a month just right now, they can do this crazy shit. When they're doing weekly television, it's going to be a bit different. And I don't know what their house show, their house shows are going to be. I think it's like one a week. They're not going to be able to do that to their bodies every single week. Adam Page and Kip Sabian, it ended with a really good ending with Adam Page hitting this. He has him in a back body drop. He just drops him backwards like a pile driver. It was a cool finish. Page gets the win. And after the match, what you have is a Dark Order member comes in and starts beating down Adam Page. When I saw that, I immediately know it's Chris Jericho. I can even tell by his body type. Jericho's behind the mask. He beats him down. He gives him a code breaker. He reveals himself, and Chris Jericho beats down Adam Page. He busts him wide open. Great angle, very well done. Great way to start to build up to the match at All Out. I really liked this. I thought the match was really good. I thought that post-ending beatdown was good. I thought this was a really good presentation, good way for them to feature Kip Sabian. They had to give Adam Page the win. He's now 3-0 in AEW. I think that's the most, probably. Or he tied with the Young Bucks now for most victories. And he heads into his big match with Jericho at All Out. And a really well built-up match, and I really enjoyed this one. Next, we go to the Lucha Brothers. Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, one of the best tag teams in the world, against SoCal Uncensored, which was Frankie, Kazarian, and Scorpio with Christopher Daniels. So we knew who was going to win. It was just, it was more so the veterans putting over the young guys. Christopher Daniels has a job backstage. This was a good match. You had some good bumps here. It was a fun match to watch. I also forgot to mention in the previous match, Adam Page powerbombed Kip Sabian out of the ring onto the ramp, which looked nasty. I wanted to mention that too. But going back to this, it was a good match. It was a good tag team match. Lucha Brothers featured heavily here. They did some good dives. The veterans were also good. There was a really sick DDT spot from the top rope, which looked really nasty. In the end, the faces win. I don't know what they are for the faces, but the Lucha Bros win. They get the victory. And after the match, it was another good post-match to set up All Out. They get a ladder, and then they use the ladder on the SCU, SoCal Uncensored, and they climb to the top of the ladder, and they cut a promo on the Young Bucks, and they challenge the Young Bucks to a ladder match at All Out. So they've lost the Young Bucks like every show now, though. They lost to them, at the Allin show, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to them in that six-man tag. They lost to them cleanly at Double or Nothing in the tag match. And they lost to them cleanly in the six-man tag with Kenny Omega at the Fyter Fest show. So they keep losing to the Young Bucks, but they challenge them to a ladder match at All Out. That's going to be a classic match. That show was just ridiculously loaded. And that's going to be a great match. It's going to be for the AAA titles. I think the Lucha Brothers should win that, and I think they will, actually. So that's a great match. It was a good promo, and we're set up for a Lucha Bros Young Bucks ladder match at All. So our co-main event was Kenny Omega and Cima. This here was a very good matchup. It went 22 minutes. And for the two main events, this one was a half-hour time limit. The main event, I think, was a 60-minute time limit. And I thought this was a very good matchup here. Kenny Omega shines here. They put Cima. They gave him a lot of offense here. They certainly see a lot with him. They have the partnership with OWE, which is the Chinese promotion, even though Cima is a Japanese wrestler. The match they have is very entertaining. You had some really good spots. You had some dives or some slams onto the ring mat on the outside the apron, which always looks nasty. You saw some bumps on the apron. Sickest bump by far is the ring announcer table bump, in which Kenny Omega is thrown onto the table, and then Cima climbs up to like this. The arena is kind of small, so there's a balcony area, and a balcony area above the fans, and he goes to the top, and he does a double footstep onto Omega, onto the table. It just looked nasty. Must have killed Kenny Omega. It looked unbelievably painful. We saw some really good near falls, some really good variations with the one-winged angel. He always knew there was no chance in hell Cima was going to win here. But Omega was going to win 100,000%. There's no way he's losing to Cima. But they gave Cima a good showing here. It was a fun match. It was very entertaining. It was I thought the best match on the show. I don't think that's a stretch to say. I thought this was the best match. I actually say it was great. It had a lot of fun here. I saw several V-triggers by Kenny Omega. There's some people who don't like Kenny Omega. I think he does a little bit too many running knees in the match. I'm not going to be Dave Meltzer, who just adores the guy. I also want to mention, just to go off subject, I know Jim Cornette's been very critical of AEW. I think on the opening show, the first match on the main show with the six-man tag, I don't remember who it was, but someone said, "Fuck you, Cornette," which, is what it is. Just give him more power, I guess. But here, they have a very good match. There's some really good spots here. It was entertaining. Eventually, Omega, he hit several really nasty moves onto Cima. I think he does a little bit too much. I think that's just his problem. I think he just does too much every match. I think he could save some stuff. But he eventually gets the one-winged angel, pins Cima, 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega with the victory. Get the celebration. No Jon Moxley on the show. We're not seeing him. I don't think he needed to be here yet. He did not make an appearance against Omega attacking him. Omega with the victory celebrates his win. Nice win for Kenny Omega, and a very good match here. I thought that match of the night. So the main event, which this was going to be their big match on the show. You had the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson against the Brotherhood, Cody and Dustin Rhodes. So here's what I think. I'll be honest with you, I'm really ill. I'm very sick right now. It's actually my birthday now, and I am sick as a dog. So I missed some of this match. I fell asleep. It wasn't the match. It was very long. It was 31 minutes. I fell asleep for a lot of it because I'm just so sick. So I haven't had the energy to go back and watch it, and I don't want to be stuck watching wrestling all day for my birthday. I'm going to review Extreme Rules later tonight too. So I missed a lot of it. From what I saw, it was very good. Young Bucks were the victors here. I don't know if I think they sort of played up Cody's big chair shot bump he took against Shawn Spears at the last show, the Fyter Fest show. It was one of the worst chair shots you'll ever see in your life. I still don't like it. The match they have here is more so the Brotherhood. I think playing more the babyface role, and I think the Young Bucks were more in the heel role. It was fun. They had some good entertaining parts. Again, I missed some of it. Eventually, the match ends with the Young Bucks hitting the Meltzer driver onto Cody. They pin Cody, so I guess they could sort of play off that Cody was not 100% after that sick chair shot. Sets up Cody and Shawn Spears. Young Bucks get a big match with a ladder match with the Lucha Bros, which is going to be off the charts. I don't know if they've announced the card yet for All Out. I'm looking at it here. What they've announced is they still have Paige and Jericho. Obviously, main event, Paige is okay. Moxley and Omega, and they have the best friends. Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta against the Dark Order, which was good. That's going to be the winners get a bye match in the first round of the tag team tournament. Not for the tag sales, but that's a good match to feature. They're pushing both those talents there. And I don't know if they have, but I think we're also for sure getting 3 other matches. Cody and Shawn Spears, probably the ladder. We're gonna get the ladder matches. That's almost confirmed. Young Bucks and Lucha Bros and Awesome Kong and Aja Kong. So that's a 6-match card. That's loaded. That's a super awesome card. Show is gonna be great. No doubt, in my opinion, all out it's gonna deliver. But going back to Fight for the Fallen, I wish I wasn't as sick as I was, so I could have paid attention. I dozed off a little bit in the main event because I'm not well. But from what I saw, it was good. One thing I wish they would do more now is you can shorten the shows. This show was too long. It did not need as many matches as it did. This felt like an eternity. It was 4 hours long. You don't need a 4-hour show. You need a 3-hour show. You have a half-hour pre-show and a 2.5-hour main card. This does not need to be 4 hours. There are some matches you could have cut. You don't have to feature every single performer on every single show. That makes everyone less relevant. It's my opinion. I don't think this needs to be as long. I think this only needs to be like a 3-hour show with a 2-hour main show and a half-hour pre-show. You don't need an hour pre-show and a 3-hour main show. This was a long show. This was really draining, actually. But again, it was good. Good event, a good way to set up All Out. I can't wait for All Out. That show is going to be incredible. So, and I enjoyed it. I'd say, it's really good shows for AEW. Double Nothing was great. Fighter Fest was good. And I thought Fight for the Fallen was good. So they've yet to really have a bad show yet. They've had 2 good shows, 2 more B shows. They've been good. But they've delivered on their main show, and I think their next main show is going to be great. So, so far, so good for AEW, in my opinion.